What's up, guys? Masta Styles here, back with another top 10 Triple S video. And I did this a month ago. If you haven't seen it, I'll pin it either at the end of the video or somewhere along at the top, right? First, we're going to go over the heroes that made the list from the last video. And at number 10, we have Teresh. Number 9 is Claire. Number 8 is Arcadia. I was saying Arcadia in the last video, and y'all corrected me. Appreciated that. Then we have Jana at number 7. Number 6 is Karlis. Number 5 is Nord. Number 4 is Sif. Number 3 was a new addition in the last episode, which was Daniel. And number 2 is Dominic, and number 1 is Purin. So the criteria for the list is use case. That's primarily what I focus on. How do you fit into other teams, not just within your class? So that's kind of the focus that I tend to do when it comes to my tier list. It's not like everybody else's, and this is just my personal opinion. You could love it or hate it. Let's get to it. Let's clear it out, and we're going to start from number 10. Coming in at number 10 is Arcadia. She dropped down on the list because, again, when it comes to the hunters, they tend to do big damage, but they're very niche based. Whenever there's shields, they excel in those situations, and they do excel in hunter form content. So somebody in the last video said that Rebecca definitely do more damage. Of course she does. She's a single target. She does a lot of damage, but for me, she can definitely work outside of the hunter team. Rebecca can too, of course. But again, for me to go back to Rebecca, even though the past 2 lists, I just don't see it. I'm not going back on that. I like what she brings to the table. Whenever she's matched up with a Windfair, she gets that additional damage reduction, which is pretty cool. Once you get her to EX30, she has that AoE ultimate. Awesome. I already spoke about the fact that they should have given her poison on her abilities. That would have been a nice way to introduce some new debuffs to the game. Only debuff in the game right now is stun. Slow. Nobody really cares about that, and defense down, but you don't really see that in a lot of heroes kit. But again, I definitely like Arcadia here at number 10. And we'll move on from there because the list is definitely changing because a lot of new heroes was added to the game. In the last video, I tried to stay away from the collab heroes, but some of them are just so good that I cannot not add them to the list. So after that, coming in at number 9, I have Jana. I know you're probably looking at this saying, wait, why would you put Jana all the way back here? Again, she has some issues going on with her, whether she runs to the front line. She's bugged. She's amazing, don't get me wrong. And I told you, when it comes to my list, it's about use cases. Jana is awesome. AoE monster, queen of AoE overall, best damage dealer when it comes to AoE in the game. So if you don't have Jana, definitely pick her up. Her problem for why she's always this low on the list is her survivability. Very squishy, cannot even take a bug to the face, no pun intended. But Jana's all the way back here again because of those situations, because in endless battles, I need Jana to be pumping out that damage, and in those situations, she tends to die because she's running to the front of the line, which makes no sense to me. I don't know why they don't fix that. So devs, if you're watching this video, you want to adjust the situation going on with Jana. And once she gets that fixed, I will move her further up into the list. Again, you're probably like, you're really saying that little bug for why she's back here. But there's other heroes that have better use cases above her. So that's why she's down here. So we're going to move on from there. And coming in at number 8, we're going to give it to Claire. I give it to Claire because, again, she is a Vanguard that once you get her to Immortal, not even Immortal 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, Immortal with charge gear, tempered charge gear on her, she becomes a beast and she excels in Vanguard content. You know, for me, the way that I see her is she definitely does a lot of damage. She even out DPS my Immortal 3 Ares. But Ares, I don't have his chart set fully tempered out. That will change once I get that, but I still think she'll still out DPS him. So Claire here, definitely want to pick her up whenever her banner goes live, because the Vanguard content, especially with Twilight Lands, you're gonna need Vanguards for this Twilight Lands here, probably endless battles or whatever the case may be. Those are the situations. Thundercliff, you don't necessarily need Vanguard. You can use Assassins if your Assassins are built out right. But when it comes to Claire, I like what she brings to the table as a Vanguard. And when it comes to this list, I want to make sure I get at least one hero from every class in here. So that's kind of why Claire is also on the list and definitely at the top of the Vanguards. So coming in at number 7 is actually a newcomer, Ray. I know they just dropped a new tank in the game, but at the same time, for me, when it comes to Ray, I've found a lot of situations where I'm starting to use Ray a lot more. And because of her kit, she brings healing the team. She can tank up front, especially if you put her with Shinji. If you haven't been doing that, you need to put her with one of the Evangelions. Definitely bring out the best in her. She works on the tank team. I put her on my energy team. And when she gets thrown in that backline by Teresh and her is a great combination, because she definitely do a lot of damage back there, especially if she's going against the energy team. I know Karlis is going to be over there, but at the same time, once she get into that backline, she's wrecking, and her knockdowns are pretty good on her basic attack. If you pay attention to that, you'll notice that her basic attack does a lot of knockdowns. There's situations where I see that she's definitely putting in a lot of work. And even when I run my tank team, Ray and the new hero definitely is the one that always alive at the end, depending on the team that I'm facing. So definitely love Ray and what she brings to the table based off of her kit, a support tank. Can't go wrong on that, because they definitely need support for their team. So coming in at number 6, we have Karlis. Karlis is number 6 because of his use case. He's on the summoner team, he's on the energy team, he's on the tank team. So whatever situation where, you know, Teresh is throwing, Karlis is gonna be there, because again, you might put him on the summoner team is because people love to use tanks to go at the summoner team, and they'll throw whatever tank they want to throw back there, and then Daniel or whoever is back there is probably going to be in trouble. Of course, you know, Karlis definitely do some big damage once you get him to Immortal. And this is what I kind of like about these heroes on this list, is that once you get them to Immortal, they do a lot of work. They definitely do a lot of damage within their class. Obviously, if outside their class, it may be a little bit different, but definitely like Karlis for his passive and also the damage that he brings to the table. And of course, if you disagree with the 5 down here, you know what you got to do. Comment down below and let me know what your top 10 is going to look like. Don't just sit there and watch and not say nothing, you know. Let me know, so that way I take everything that you say into consideration. I'll add that into the next tier list video. And one thing I also want to mention before we move on into the top 5 is that I wanted to do tier lists within the classes. Maybe I could pick 3 classes and then do a tier list within that, or I can do all the classes together. You let me know what I should do down in the comments, and then I'll make a video about that. So now we're hopping into the top 5, and this is where it gets interesting, because again, from the last video, top 5 did change a little bit, but new heroes got added into the game, and let's see if things change. So with this guy, right, it's tough because he's still good, but again, he's been so power crept that I feel like at some point he's going to get awakened, and when he does, he's gonna become the number one hero in the game. But it's probably gonna be a ways away till we get to that point. So I still have him in the top 5 for the reason being his survivability and what he brings to the table. And damage output is okay. For newer accounts, he'll be a beast, right? Nord, you can't have a tier list without having Nord. I know a lot of people don't have access to Nord. I just don't understand why they don't bring Nord around. He's not as OP as he used to be when he first came out. He's not. I have him on my free-to-play account. He came out. This banner was live twice, and I missed it the first time, and I finally got him on my main account. I only have him at Legendary 2. I just don't want to put genes into building him to Immortal because necessarily I don't need him. And that was the thing that with me, when I went through my whole journey, I went through my whole Eternal Evolution journey pretty much without having Nord. So this is why I think the way that I do. And definitely want to have Nord on the top 5 because, again, a newer account getting Nord, he's going to be wrecking everything, you know? So definitely a hard carry. One of the other person I was thinking too, you know, just before we go into the top 4 was Leo. But Leo right now is a little shaky based on the situation that happened when he was awakened, and he pretty much didn't perform well. I feel like a lot of people that left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. So not too many people are making content about it. And again, for me, I'm like slow building that. I have him at Awaken 1, and that's about it. I need to find another way to get more of Leo's awakening crystals in the game outside of summoning him and getting him that way. So coming in at number 4, we still have Sif. I still have Sif at number 4. Yes, her damage isn't as great as it used to be, because I noticed that her damage is tapering off a little bit, but she still does a lot. Gobo definitely will be wrecking stuff in Twilight Lands. She definitely excelled there, especially with my free-to-play account. Sif is my main damage dealer, one of my main damage dealer, but definitely like Sif. If you have Sif and you're a newer player, you gotta copy her, get her to Immortal. She's definitely gonna help your account to progress. And this is the thing about the top 5 is that all 5 of these heroes are game changers. Like Nord will change your account, progress you through Twilight Lands. PvP, not so much, but he'll help with the energy team. Sif, same thing, help you to progress through Twilight Lands, right? So that's kind of what I was based in the top 5 off of your use case. Are you a game changer? What are you bringing to the table, right? So speaking about another game changer, Daniel's awakening is insane. Again, I don't have an A10 Daniel, so I don't know how he performs. Obviously, he's going to be a beast, which would make him number 2. I wouldn't put him at number 1 because you should already know who the number 1 hero in the game. But I have an A7 Daniel, and he wrecks stuff. PvE, not so much. Change him enough, not so much. But let me go back on that. PvE situations where it doesn't require summoners, his damage is a little, interesting. It's not as OP as it would be in a summoner situation, right? But PvP, man, when that bear comes online, you better watch out. You better watch out. I'm telling you that right now. So if you don't have your Daniel at least Awaken 5, you need to get him there. So make sure you do those investments, do that daily training. Yes, it's annoying playing that digital war, but do it every day. That's just free. That's literally free. You don't even have to beat it. And this is one thing I wanted to say about that is that with that, if you win, you should get 30 extra of those coins or whatever the case may be. Miss on them, but that's neither here nor there. So before we jump into the top 2 heroes in the game, again, as you can see on the list, I still try to stay a little bit away from the collab hero because if you're new to the game, you're not going to be able to access those collab heroes. And again, I just don't understand why Maybe it's, rights, so they can't really release those heroes again. They're just in the game, and then that's it. You'll probably never see them again. And this is why I'll always say, make sure you get a copy whenever the next collab is. Make sure you pick those heroes up. The number two hero in the game is Dominic. Dominic is number two. There's so many use cases for this guy. Every situation that requires damage, you're going to see Dominic. Endless battles, Twilight Lands, PvP, PvE. What can I say? If you have Dominic, get him to Immortal, EX30, everything. Tamper out all his gear. Just get him to Immortal 5. Man, imagine this, right? If Dominic is the way that he is, imagine this is like later on in the game. Hopefully the game is still around. Imagine an awakened Dominic. My goodness, that would be insane. That would be insane, but that's neither here nor there. That's going to be a long ways away till they even get to that point. But for right now, he's a king of single target, yes. And he's also the king of the assassins. There's other assassins that's come along, Samael, Ahsoka, but at the same time, if you're doing PvE, you're definitely gonna run Dominic because he's the key to all the damage that you can output. And in any situation where you need to do damage, you're gonna have Dominic. And of course, they've been trying to taper him off by reducing melee damage and all this other stuff. Yes, I seen it. The new boss with Twilight Lands, you can't really use assassins. I like that though. I love that because again, you don't need to have a situation where you can just assassin all the way through to chapter 16. So definitely number 2 in the game. You can argue with me down in the comments. You may say he's number 1, but for me, he's number 2. So the reason why I say he's number 2 is because of the number 1 hero in the game. Some people will never be able to get this hero again. I don't know how they're gonna go about it. Well, hopefully someday they release this hero because she reminded me of when I was going through my early days of Eternal Evolution, and I kept hearing, oh, you need to get Nord. Everything, every content creator, Nord, but Nord here, Nord there, Nord this, Nord that, right? Purin is the number 1 hero in the game. Point blank, period. Every team you can put Purin on. Summoners, Hunters, Energy, Assassins, Vanguards. You put her with every team. So for that reason alone, right? And that was the thing with Dominic when it comes to damage. You always have Dominic on your team because he's the one that's going to produce the most damage. But again, Purin brings to the table damage reduction, damage increase, energy regen. Also, she nullifies the strongest attacker on the enemy team. She's healing passively. Every second you're getting a heal. So if you can get her HP up there, you can definitely be getting a high amount of heals per second. And for me, once I switch over to our healing version, she's putting out at least 80k healing per second. Purin, definitely number 1 hero in the game. You can argue with me all you want, but for her use case, every team, you have Purin on every team, even to the point where you even in situations, you definitely put Purin over Fiona when you're using assassins. Yeah, you definitely do. I know you do. So again, quick one here. This is a tier list. Let's just go over it one more time so you can see it. This is for January, February. May look different because new heroes gonna come out. So by the time I do it, there should be 2 new heroes added to the game unless they do a collab event. I hope not. We need a little break, right? So coming in at number 10, we have Arcadia. And number 9 is Jana. Number 8 is Claire. Number 7 is Ray. 6 is Karlis. 5 is Nord. Number 4 is Sif. Number 3 is Daniel. Number 2 is Dominic. And the number 1 hero in the game is Kieran Asaki. Yeah, so that was my tier list. Again, like I said, if you want me to do the class version of this, I could definitely do that. But it's going to be up to you to make that comment. If you don't, I will continue to do my monthly tier list. Right? So those that are new to my content, if you want tips and tricks about improving your account and managing your resources, this is the channel you want to subscribe to. Help me to get to that 300 mark. I would appreciate it. And for those that's been rocking with me, you already know what to do. Hit the like button, comment, share. And without further ado, I want to thank you for watching. Till the next video. Peace.